The idea that cheap phones are bad has persisted for a long time, but often it isn't true of every cheap phone. Case in point, the Poco M3, which might be the best sub $200 smartphone out there right now. Thanks for watching 9to5 Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. Let's talk design, as the Poco M3 is a tall, wide device that does feel lighter than the footprint would have you believe. As expected, it has a mainly plastic frame, but there is a faux leather finish on the rear panel, which is a nice differentiator between the M3 and other polycarbonate finish smartphones. One weird design trait that I've found myself enjoying is the elongated panel, which within the camera module sits. It's a small domino setup that looks eerily similar to that of the OnePlus 8T, but like a certain Cyberpunk 2077 special edition of that device, the camera is inset within a larger panel. The embossed Poco logo is an in-your-face way to confirm who made the device, but it's by no means to the detriment of the overall look of the Poco M3. I'd imagine that this is a far more striking design on the more colourful yellow and blue variants, which retain the black camera panel. Here it just reminds me of the now defunct Nexus 6P visor, albeit a slightly different interpretation. My only major complaint in the design terms is that the Poco M3 does feel a little hollow in the main body portion. A tap of the rear panel reverberates around a little, but there are no flexes or creaks within the chassis itself. I get the impression that it would probably survive a real beating without too much detriment to the overall structure here. At the top and bottom edge, the outer bezel is almost completely flat, while the sides softly curve into that faux leather finish at the rear. Despite its oversized look and feel, this is a comfortable phone to hold with good balance in the hand. There's a real weight to it as well that you don't often get with predominantly plastic smartphones. Along that flat top bezel there is also room for a speaker, IR blaster, and as this is a cheaper Android device, a 3.5mm headphone port. All in all, the Poco M3 has a lot of extras that in yesteryear we'd associate with top-end flagship devices, which is a real show of the times changing across the board. I must admit I'm really surprised that at $150 the Poco M3 comes with a Full HD Plus panel, but it is in the LCD variety. Unlike many competitors, the display on offer is a core selling point and one that does elevate the M3 from the similarly priced competition, including the Nokia 3.4 which we reviewed recently. I will say though that the auto brightness setting isn't always the most responsive, and the maximum level tops out at 440 nits when the sunlight mode is enabled. It's not exactly superb, but nor is it terrible. It's just a pretty solid panel, all things considered. As for the device itself, packing in the Qualcomm Snapdragon 662 and 4GB of RAM, there is no denying the Poco M3 isn't going to fly in daily performance stakes compared to the competition at the higher end. However, it can do just about anything you may ask of it without much of a complaint. I won't sugarcoat it though, there is lag here and there. I noticed that sometimes in areas like the settings menu, where tapping the search bar would mean up to half a second wait times for the keyboard to appear. That said, the slowdowns are infrequent enough that they can be a little jarring. That is a bit of a backhanded compliment, I will say that. As for the software, my personal gripes with MIUI are varied, as I find certain UI elements too over the top for my own tastes. The settings menu is poorly organised, the recent menu tile style layout looks horrendous at least to me, and listing gesture navigation under full screen display is borderline criminal. However, it's not a bad skin if you like added features and customization options right out of the box. I will say the animations are sleek, and I can understand why MIUI has a large fan base. Unfortunately, the Poco M3 is running MIUI 12.0.4 on my device, which is still an Android 10 build. It's not entirely clear if or when we'll see Android 11 and the full MIUI 12, but it will be a stellar edition, that's for sure. One major notable I really do like is that the Poco M3 and most Poco devices let you swipe right into the Google Discover feed from your home screen, and it lets you set your default SMS app as Google Messages, or it is set out of the box even. These are nice little touches, but then there are far too many duplicates in Xiaomi's flavour. I counted around 11 that were almost redundant once I restored my device from a previous backup. Let's focus on the camera for a second, as it's hard to fathom that phones costing just $150 can come with a triple camera setup nowadays. Alas, there are not too many situations though you'll be covered with the Poco M3 triple camera array though. It sports a 48MP main sensor, which is very good in our testing. However, the 2MP macro sensor and 2MP depth sensors really don't add a great deal to the package on offer here. Of course, it's nice that they are here, but they're not particularly useful in the way a telephoto or ultra wide angle lens would be. Shots from that main 48 megapixel sensor are very nice and do stand head and shoulders above similarly priced Android smartphones though. Dynamic range is fairly good, while things look sharp compared to lower resolution competitor cameras. Colours pop in a trademark Xiaomi way, but if lighting conditions become mixed, then things start to get a little fuzzy around the edges. The big annoyance for most people might be the auto watermarking, although as someone that takes a lot of images with various devices, it actually happened to be a useful tagging feature. I must say as well that the night mode is one that has me the most impressed by the camera package on offer here. The longer exposures really clean up low light photography and the results are particularly good. By no means is it as good as night sight on the Pixel 4a or even the 3a for that matter, but you'll likely be surprised in much the same way I was. Frankly, the battery life is nothing short of extraordinary on the Poco M3. It's not rocket science to decipher that a massive 6000 mAh battery is going to withstand even the most brutal of daily usage patterns. Such is the supreme confidence in the lifespan, Xiaomi even included reverse wire charging. This means you can use the Poco M3 as a power bank to charge other devices. It's simply fantastic for anything and everything you throw at it. The only major issue you'll encounter is a relatively slow 18 watt charge speed. But is it the slowest? No. That said, it does take a couple of hours to go from 0 to 100% capacity. So all in all, I'm still holding the opinion that the Xiaomi Poco X3 NFC is the outright best budget phone of the past 18 months. However, the Poco M3 is one hell of a front runner for those not wanting to spend more than $200 on a smartphone. The battery life is exceptional, the display is good given the pricing, plus the performance really isn't bad by any means. When compared directly to the best of the best, yes, the Poco M3 doesn't look all that impressive, but within its own league and price bracket, the Poco M3 is almost untouchable. With that said though, let me know what you think of this sub $150 pocket rocket down in the comments section below. But until next time, this is Damien with 95Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.